of weight, but trying to find really good bread, keto bread, is tough. First of all, you know, bread is always going to be better if you bake it yourself, and there are tons of great breads that we have great bread mixes here at hsn.com, but if you go to any of the websites, you can find, if you're on keto, you can make your own keto bread, you can make rice, you can make jams and jellies, you can make yogurt in here, and it's, the reason I'm getting it today, I was like, hey, it's on sale. Why not? It's $89. I also asked JB, and she told me, yeah, this is a great machine. Grab it. It makes wonderful bread, and she's our stylist today. And I'll show you some loaves that we made. All that is really good news and fun and easy, but the sad part is we started with 500. I'm down to 370. That's all I have left, and I want to come over and I want to cut some bread for you. This is a loaf that was made inside this pan, and you can see, and I'll lift up the unit itself. If you look inside the unit, you'll see this is exactly the pan we made it in. You can see the little indentation on the top of the bread. But what makes this so wonderful is the freshness. Because there is nothing on this earth like a fresh loaf of bread when it comes out of the oven. And you can see how soft and how beautiful that is. We put some raisins in here, and you can see I can cut it very, very thin. So if you're trying to control, you know, that's another thing. When you have whole loaves of bread, you can make the slices thinner. So if you're worried about carbs and things, but I want you to look at the texture of that bread. It is beautifully soft. So if I wanted to add jelly, which by the way, we can also make jelly inside this thing. So if you like jams and jellies, you can make those in there. There's actual setting for that. I'm just gonna put a little jam on there and show you how pretty, look, a little cherry jam on top. Imagine making your own marmalades. You can do all that, but you need a bread maker to be able to do it. Like I said, reason I got it, we have a couple of bread makers. I was like, hey, you know what? I love Ovente. I've got another one of their items at my house, one of their appliances. I love it, and it's 89 bucks today. Get it home for $22.50. The incredible aroma, the flavor, you can customize any bread that you want. You make 2-pound loaves on here for pennies. You're going out, you're spending $4 or $5 on a loaf of bread. You can make a loaf of bread for pennies inside this thing, and you get to wake up to fresh bread. It's a presets of 19 different presets. So, and I'll just go really quickly through them before Carrie comes out. So you can make basic bread, quick bread, sweet bread, French bread, whole wheat. You can make pizza dough, gluten-free, rice bread. You can set this to knead. You can do it for cakes, jam, yogurt. All those different things are all presets. All you have to do is hit the button. Never been easier. Carrie Miletto, I am really excited about making my own bread, Carrie Miletto.
Oh, and I'm so excited to see you. Good morning, Guy. Good morning, everyone. And guess what? There is no better morning than the smell of fresh bread, yes, which is exactly what I have in my Ovente right here in my kitchen. And what I love about making fresh bread, there's a lot of good reasons to do it. You were talking about some of them, Guy. It's because you can control your ingredients. It's because if you are diabetic and you need to do bread that has low sodium, I have a friend of mine that actually has to watch the sodium in her diet, you can control every ingredient that you use. Ovente, by the way, one of the fastest growing home solution brands in the world right now. And what's great about that, I love, Guy, that you said you have something by Ovente. It may be new to you, but it's certainly not new in the culinary industry. So being able to get something that is a good quality brand, they also are big on versatility. They want to give you lots of, as you just saw, lots of features without a huge price. We want to keep it affordable, but give you lots and lots of different things that you can do with this. By the way, most versatile machine ever. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, but I want to start with white bread. So this is a basic white bread. You saw, Guy, what were you cutting into? Did that have cranberries in it, I think?
It looks like it had golden raisins in it. Oh my gosh,
so good.
Yeah,
okay,
I know,
olive loaves, rye, pumpernickel, you name it, wheat breads, multigrain breads. If you're doing keto, you're right, you can do keto breads. Let me get that all the way down. You can control exactly how you want it to be, but check this out. What's interesting about this is that feathering, that lightness about it, yes, that, you know, the ability to have the best taste. I think a lot of times, a lot of breads on the marketplace, the reason we have our favorite bread that we like is because of the taste of it, because of maybe the ingredients, and you pay more money because you want to get something that has better ingredients, etc. But with this, what I love, you can make it how you want it. Your sandwiches will never taste better. Even if you just do some butter on there, it's going to be absolutely delicious. I'm going to have this guy join this guy. Most of your breads, you want to eat them when they're fresh within about 3 days. But if you refrigerate them, you have up to about 10 days. But the difference is that's why we go to the bakery. That's why we go and get everything fresh, because there's nothing like it. And what did the bakeries do? After day one, they say day old bread. and they get rid of it. So being able to have your bread when you want it is so important. I'm going to show you how to load this. It's super simple. This is a basic white bread recipe. So I'm doing 320 milliliters of water, and you're always going to want to put your wet ingredients in first. Then you want to go with your salts and your sugars. So this is my salt. Then I'm going to do my sugar. Then I'm going to do my oil. And I'm just pouring everything right in. And then I'm going to go for my flour. Coming with this is going to be a 1 cup measuring cup that I'm actually going to use to help put my flour in there so I don't get it everywhere. But also you're going to get a scooper that does a teaspoon and a tablespoon scoop, so it helps you measuring out everything. So between this cup and the scooper, you're good to go. Okay, now I'm in a good place to put the rest of this in there. And then once everything is in, you're going to make a little cavern. So I'm going to go here. Hopefully we can see this, but you always want to make your cavern, and in a yeast bread, you want to pour your yeast right into that cavern there. And I want to point out, this is coming with 4 recipes for you, but the thing about bread machines and bread making, there are tons of recipes online. So if you go to Pinterest or Google or any of those things and you just pop it in, bread machine recipes, you get the 4 that come with this. There's tons more that'll help you. And I'm going to show you one recipe I found that you're just going to go goo goo gaga over. But when you come over here, here's how you use it. So the menu button, if I were to start pressing it, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can go through all my different options, and you'll notice that the time is changing. So depending upon what I want to make all the way through 19, it knows exactly how long. It's like, we say it's like a little fun robot. It knows what it's doing. Weight, with this, I want to make I'm doing my recipe for a 2-pound loaf. Then I'm going to come over to my color setting. I can do light, medium, or dark. It's always going to go to medium as kind of like just the main setting. Yep. Then if I wanted to do programmable delay, I would then do that here. It's up to 15 hours. So because this recipe doesn't have eggs or milk in it, I could set this the night before and then do my programmable and say 8 hours from now, okay, I want this to be done. And when I press start, it's already mixing. So as we come back in here, it takes a moment, but you can kind of hear it, right? You can hear whoop, whoop.
Yeah, I hear the little paddle starting to move. Yep.
Paddle's starting to move. It's going to start doing its thing. It's going to start mixing all of those ingredients. Here's the most fabulous thing. If you've ever tried to make bread before, it is so tough to get it just right. If the humidity's different in your house, it won't proof properly. You have to knead it again, let it proof, knead it again. How about gluten-free? Let's talk about that for a minute. I made a gluten-free bread here. My husband is gluten-free. And if you are doing low sodium breads, diabetic breads, any of those sort of things, they can be very tasteless. Here's what I want to point out about this. Look at that great quality texture. Yes. Look at the size of it. That's totally, here, let me hold it up next to me. Come over here. Let's see. So you can kind of see, if you've seen gluten-free breads in the store, they're super, super tiny, right? They have like these little loaves that you can't even fit a sandwich on. So what I love about this is that it's super bouncy. It's got great texture, but it's also super soft and tasty. My husband said this is the best tasting bread he's ever had.
Oh, it's so yummy. And I love, you know what, I love that you can add whatever you want. So let's say you like sunflower seeds, right? You want to make sunflower bread, or maybe you want to do a pistachio bread, or you want to make a walnut bread, or you want to put raisins, or whatever it is that you love. You can incorporate those into whatever the recipes are. And there's so many different bread mixes available out on the market, so you can, if you just want to make it even easier and not have to measure flour and yeast, you can do it all together very, very easily. Price today is a one-day price, $89.99.